Brisbane's $500 million riverfront boom. What apartment buyers need to know before they sign. Brisbane just got greenlit for a $500 million transformation of the Howard Smith Wharves. If you're thinking about buying an apartment anywhere along the inner city river, so we're talking New Farm, Tenerife, Newstead, Kangaroo Point, or Fortitude Valley, the timing matters more than you might think. Alright, so what exactly has been approved? Artemis Group, the team behind the original transformation of the Howard Smith Wharves, has been approved for a $500 million Phase 2, internally dubbed HSW 2.0, on the riverfront site beneath the Story Bridge in Brisbane. The approved plans include a 106-room boutique hotel built atop a revamped Felons Barrel Hall, Brisbane's first over-river swimming pool with public access in the mornings, a revamped river shed with a new cafe, bakery and dining outlets, the Chow Glasshouse replaced with a new 2-storey venue, and Bougainvillea House converted into a 2-storey restaurant and function space. The development application was first lodged in September 2024 and approved by Council in late May 2026. The project is designed as a centrepiece for the city ahead of the 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games, with completion targeted by 2032 and works staged so the precinct can keep operating throughout. Why does this matter for apartment buyers? Howard Smith Wharves isn't a place you buy a home, it's a hospitality precinct. So why does it matter if you're house hunting? Because it's a signal and it doesn't stand alone. HSW 2.0 is one of a wave of riverfront and Olympic era projects pulling investment, jobs and lifestyle amenity into Brisbane's inner river city suburbs. With that much money landing on the river, the suburbs that ring it, New Farm, Tenerife, Kangaroo Point, Fortitude Valley, Spring Hill, get more desirable and more competitive. More desirability equals more buyers. More buyers means upward pressure on prices. And a big chunk of the new supply meeting demand comes in the form of apartment towers, many sold off the plan, bought today, built and settled years in the future. That's where the opportunity is, but guys, that's also where the risk is. Now, the thing about buying off the plan is you're buying a promise. It's not the same as buying an established apartment. With an established place, you can walk through the property, you know what you're getting, you can physically see it. Off the plan, you're committing to a unit that doesn't yet exist based on plans, a render and a contract, and you might not settle for 1, 2 or even 3 years in the future. The gap between signing and settling is exactly where buyers get caught. Not here to vilify off the plan, guys. I know many people that have done very, very well buying successfully off the plan, but you do have to be cautious that you get the right operators. Here's what you need to understand before you buy. Sunset clauses can work against you. Off-the-plan contracts usually include a sunset date, which is a long stop date by which the development must be finished and the contract settled. If the project isn't complete, the contract can be ended. The catch, depending on how the clause is drafted, it can be the developer who walks away, not you. In a rising market, that's not always accidental. You want to understand what can trigger the sunset clause, on what grounds, and what happens to your deposit if they do. This is one of the first things we check. Next is knowing what your deposit is exposed to. Your deposit is typically held while the build runs its course, often a long time. Understanding where it's held in a trust account or a bond and what circumstances put it at risk is critical. A deposit tied up for years in a project that doesn't complete is a very different proposition to a deposit on an established home. Next thing, the render is not the contract. Glossy marketing renders are a sales tool, not a guarantee. The finishes, fixtures, room sizes, outlooks, and even floor plans can shift between the brochure and you getting your keys. Contracts usually allow the developer some scope to make variations. You need to know how much latitude they've reserved and what protections you have if the finished apartment doesn't match what you were sold. The body corporate, the costs come with the keys. Apartments come with body corporate obligations. In a brand new scheme, you're often signing up before the real running costs are known. Before you commit, you want a clear picture of the likely levies, the sinking fund, the building management and the caretaking arrangement, and any agreements the developers have locked in that you will inherit. In an established building, you can inspect the records. Off the plan, you're relying on the disclosure, so the disclosure needs to be read and understood properly. Next, finance and valuation risk at settlement. This one, guys, does catch people often. You arrange finance based on today's numbers, but you settle years later. If the bank's valuation at settlement comes in below the market price that's agreed, you may have to make up the shortfall in cash. Understanding this risk before you sign, not at settlement, which is when it's too late, is critical. Also, even getting a loan years down the track, you have to make sure you're in a position that you can get that money. All right, guys, wrapping that all up together. The Howard Smith Wharves 2.0 approval is genuinely huge news for Brisbane, and it's a clear signal of where the river city suburbs are heading in the run-up to 2032. If you're buying an apartment to ride that wave, that's a smart instinct, but buy with your eyes wide open, please. Off the plan can be a great way into a growth market. It can also be a contract that ties up your money for years on terms that quietly favour the developer. Know your sunset clauses, know your deposit, know your body corporate, get advice before you sign, not after, and make sure the developer and the builder have a proven track record. Empire Legal is a Brisbane and Bayside conveyancing team that helps everyday Queenslanders buy and sell with confidence, fixed fees, no referral kickbacks, and thousands of 5-star reviews. We've just ticked over 3,000 with a 5-star average. If you've got questions about off the plan, what your search should cover, and what a pre-contract review is, get in touch with us. We're here to help. What's your thoughts on what's happening with HSW 2.0? Yes, no, maybe? It's been quite a while since 1.0 was completed. Personally, I love going there, getting a nice pizza by the river, but that's just me. Your comments below. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, please keep in mind that all advice is general in nature and does not constitute legal advice. This is authorised by George Souris, Empire Legal, Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia.